Hello guys and girls, it is I, Aaron Halo 18 here, and I'm starting up my Halo 5 Guardians discussion series again, episode 47. I believe in, I'll read a couple of canon photos from the Halo website. The most recent one is Canon Folder Hog on the Horizon by Grim Brother 1, 8/31/2016. This week, in a very special issue of Canon Folder, we highlight the Warthog's arrival in Forza Horizon 3 and look at the boundary between the automotive world and the Halo universe. They showed a video down below of Horizon 3. I guess the Warthog from Halo is into Horizon, which is kind of weird. Oh, this week, this is issue 87, I guess. It says, this week, you've got a very special edition of Canon Folder for fans of not just one, but two franchises. Yesterday, the teams at Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios celebrated Forza Horizon 3. Going gold by announcing one more legendary addition to their already stalwart stable of vehicles. That's right. Halo's beloved Warthog is back in Forza game. And this time, it's drivable, baby. The below the video says, way back in 2011, the venerable Warthog made its debut in Forza Motorsport 4's Auto Vista mode, allowing fans to get an incredibly detailed look in and around their favorite Spartan trolley like never before. However, while the Warthog is FM4 certainly looked the part, it was only able to be seen, not driven. That all changes in Forza Horizon 3 as years of longing will finally come to fruition when Halo and Forza fans alike get the opportunity to hone Halo's iconic off-road beast alongside a host of modern rides across some of Earth's most challenging terrain, Australia. Today, we want to give you a preview of what is awaiting Halo fans looking to take the Warthog for a spin when Forza Horizon 3 hits shelves and hard drives on September 27th. And by the way, playing Halo on your Xbox One is the only way to get this puppy in your garage. When the game launches, the Warthog will be sent as a free download to everyone who has played either Halo 5 Guardians or the Halo Master Chief Collection on Xbox One, with eligible players to begin receiving codes to download the Warthog via an Xbox Live message during the coming weeks. I haven't played either of these games, but still want in on the action. Have no fear, as players will still have the chance to earn the vehicle via a special Forzathon event coming to Forza Horizon 3 in October. So enough chit chat. Mount up, strap in, and let's ride. What is in Sam Hill? One in Sam Hill is a Puma. The 2554 AMG Transport Dynamics M1 2S Warthog CTS is positioned as a civilian transport alternative to its militaristic cousin, the M12 Force application vehicle. This isn't the first time that colonists have had their opportunity to get their hands on a hog. Anal fans are no doubt familiar with the more luxurious, often colored, brilliant gold, strictly civilian model. Think a bit more H2 versus Humvee. The M1 2S is a bit of a different beast, though. Forza fans might think of this as more of a homologian special or track day car. Just like a Viper ACR is basically a road legal race car. The M1 2S Warthog CTS is essentially a road legal war mount. And they showed a picture of the inside of the Warthog in this game. It looks pretty cool for this game, I guess. And below the picture says, while you won't find a turret installed on this version, its strength is now equally matched by its speed, thanks to a 720 bhp twin turbo V8. The Warthog CTS in Forza Horizon 3 is also ideally suited for the rough and tumble landscape of Australia. Roughly 25% smaller than the FAV and around 33% lighter, the M1 2S skews the more ubiquitous four-wheel steering of the FAV. Is effort to sacrifice low-speed maneuverability for better high-speed handling and performance. The M1 2S also boasts the most advanced suspension and FH3, featuring 70 cm of total suspension, travel and showcasing dampening values out of any other vehicle's league in the game. The performance vehicle layout: front engine AWD, two-seater, type twin turbo 8VL V8, power 720 bhp at 6,500 RPM. Torque 855 feet/pounds at 3,200 RPM. Top speed 119 miles per hour. Limited by gearing. 0 through 60 mph 3.7 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour 9.81 sec. 1/4 mile 12.4 sec at 209.4 mph. And they show a picture of it as well. The project. their project. It's an understatement to say that working with our awesome partners at Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios has been a blast. There are unsung heroes on both ends of the progress who have worked tirelessly to ensure that the driving experience provided by the Warthog and Forza Horizon 3 is just as rewarding for Halo players as it is for Forza drivers. We sat down with one such hero from the talented team at Playground Games, Chris Phillips, to talk to him about the progress of realizing the Warthog in their new title, Grim. Hey Chris, to start out from the perspective of a modern day motorsports focused franchise, what excites you about being able to include a vehicle like the Warthog in Forza Horizon 3? When crafting, Chris said, when crafting a car list, it's important to ensure cars that speak to our inner child make the cut. There are cars that are included not because they have notable race victories or set a new record for sale price at auction, but because they are just fun to drive and experience. The Warthog is exactly this. A car that makes that inner child get excited. Not only because it is fun to drive out, because it is one of the most iconic vehicles in video game history. Grim. So with the Warthog being born from video games, how does creating a vehicle from another purely digital source compare to, let's say, taking a real-world car like a Viper or a Zonda or prepping it for inclusion within a Forza game? Chris? The main difference is that real-world cars have real-world data. They can be benchmarked and measured to produce all the data we need to create them in the game. The Warthog not only differs as it comes from a game world, but also because this is a new Earth variant, the M12S Warthog CTS. The CTS is an Earth-based version, requiring for us to approach it as if we were AMG Transport dynamic engineers with the technologies of the mid-50s available to us in order to create the car's data. This made working on the Warthog a very unique and exciting process for us. Grim, I can imagine. Can you talk a bit about the partnership process between the Forza and Halo teams? How was the experience working alongside another game franchise on a project like this instead of simply working with another auto manufacturer? Chris, the process for the Warthog was very different. Normally we replicate cars that already exist. We researched the car thoroughly, including getting detailed information from manufacturers directly. This is then used to implement the car as accurately as possible in the game. For the Warthog, this data didn't exist. Instead, we first had to work together to determine how it would function in an everyday Earth environment, something that we have never really had to consider before. Grim, what would you say is your own personal favorite aspect about driving the Warthog in Forza Horizon 3? Chris, for me, it has to be its ability to traverse all terrains with ease. It is the perfect vehicle for just exploring Australia, from blasting through the rivers and the rainforest to carving up the dunes in the outback. It does it all without complaint. Grim. Makes sense. The all that experience, transversing exotic alien worlds, would prepare the Warthog well for dealing with Australia. If you had to compare the Warthog to other vehicles in the game, which ones feel most similar to the iconic UNSC all-terrain monster? Chris, the most similar cars to the Warthog are our most extreme and purpose-built off-road racers. Cars like the 2015 Baldwin Motorsports number 97 Monster Energy Trophy truck. Grim, I wonder if you could put a turret on that. Anyway, too close. What is it about Forza Horizon 3 that you feel most perfectly suits the Warthog driving experience? Chris, of the diverse and open world of Forza Horizon 3 gives an environment perfectly suited to the Warthog and its incredible off-road capabilities. Whether it's wading through the sea or blasting through the gorges, it never feels out of control. Grim. Sounds awesome, Chris. Thanks so much for joining us and for all the work you guys poured into this. It seems no matter who we talk to, every member on every team is absolutely stoked to be able to deliver this awesome experience to fans. Here's what Turn 10 Studios creative director Dan Greenwald thinks about the project. Quote, in Forza Horizon 3, you're going to explore Australia in over 350 of the world's greatest vehicles. But it's not the number of cars that matters. It's the diversity of cars and experiences you can find in Horizon. For some, it's about weaving through traffic in an exotic hypercar. Why nothing beats hard charging through the wide open outback in the Warthog. It's huge, it's loud, and it can jump sand dunes like a trophy truck. Halo and Forza fans alike are going, love it. End quote. That's what he said. We couldn't agree more, Dan. In fact, within our own hollowed Halo halls, there are a number of unabashed gearheads who count themselves among the numbers of both franchises followers. This one is Soraya 343 BMW. For your humble subscribe, video games helped ignite a passion for motorsport, and it wasn't long until it led directly to professional involvement. For almost 15 years, your friendly neighborhood Grim worked in professional sports car / GT racing for teams in several series and a number of capacities, from technical work and race strategy to PR and driver management. One of our team's cars, the number 17 car sport, Zonda GR, was in the first 4 installments of Forza Motorsport series. Whether it was seeing our Viper GTS R come home from an improbable podium finish at the Petite Le Mans at Road Atlanta, or watching my own loyal steed, a Black 3 Series BMW named Tiny, recently hit the 117k mile mark. I've had several memorable bonds with machines that take us where we need to go. And I'm not alone around these parts. Let's hear from some other fine folks around 343 and why oil flows through many of our halo-loving veins. Question: what is your general car culture experience, and could you briefly put in 2 words your love for automobiles and slash or motorsport? Frank O'Connor, creative director. I love all things cars. I love motorsports with a deeper fondness for rally and Formula One, especially old school bunkers. Make up your own rules. Formula One, 6-wheeled, 1977 Terrell. Anyone? I'm a decent driver with some experience doing track days and technical 4WD off-road stuff, but haven't done as much as I like to. The most difficult car I ever drove was about 20 minutes in a Lamborghini Diablo VT. It was clutch and gated gear. Absolutely terrified me. Above and beyond the engine, on the other hand, I've also driven a brilliant Robin, which was equally terrifying because of gravity and physics. The best looking car of all time is the Lamborghini Ferrari, and I secretly like to get a fully modified whale-tailed D. Tommaso Piccitteri. Next, a Kiki Wolf Kill. Studio head of Transmedia. I will try to be brief, but will likely fail because cars and motorsports have always been a huge part of my life. I grew up jammed in the back of a Porsche 911 Porsche, I guess, I don't know. And with a father who had raced cars all his life. Our earliest family memories were of being at the racetrack, watching my father or family friends race, GT racing, rally racing, Indy cars, you name it. I first learned to drive when I was 13, and nothing felt more natural than going fast when I got my learner's permit at 15. I love driving. I also happen to love competition. I raced professionally for almost 10 years, and even longer before that as an amateur. I've been known to take the streets, competing both in the Gumball 3000 and the Cannonball One Lap of America. While I grew up with and have an affinity for German rear-wheel drive cars, I am not picky when it comes to competition. I will literally race anything, anywhere. Getting the most out of any vehicle, whether a rental, minivan, an official, unofficial race weekend track car. I can vouch for this, Grim. A scooter. I love my Vespa. Or a go-kart. If it moves, I'll race it. I pretty much watch every motorsport out there when I can. I love Formula One and follow it pretty. Really? religiously. I appreciate all forms of motorsport, so long as the competition is tight. Guess it's just in my blood. She's not lying. Grip. James, Pachichi, lead playtest coordinator. I don't remember a time where cars weren't a major part of my life. Since I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandfather was a mechanic, Engine bites, bumpers, wheels, wrenches, and sockets were a pretty common sight in our backyard / garage. I was taught to drive a manual at the age of 11 on a 1983 Ford F-250 truck. It was a bronzy brown. I'll never forget it. Falling in love with the automobile and racing was therefore inevitable. Since racing cars was so expensive, I turned to video games instead. I distinctively remember reading up on all the auto manufacturers in Gran Turismo and losing my mind when Forza Motorsports came out on the original Xbox. I once raced. Billy? Billy? I was raced against what looked to be a bone stock Civic, but turned out to be a proper drag strip sleeper, and was depressed for a month. I distinctly recall BMW scoring a 22 finish in the Canadian F1 Grand Prix in '98, and smiling for a week afterwards. I consider a car to be one of the best physical expressions of one's values and even character. And I think that this applies to both the creator manufacturer as well as the user. Kevin Paul, program manager. Briefly, I want to go fast. Ricky Bobby, 2006. Longly, my growing obsession with the Forza Motorsports series is what inspired me to go out and try my hand at motorcycle track riding. I didn't care much for motorsports or racing games, really, prior to that. But there's something awfully satisfying about chaining corners together and shaving tenths of seconds from your lap time. Washington has a couple of great tracks and a welcoming community of riders and teachers that make it fun and safe to learn how to put a knee down. Now I can't get enough MOT, Moto, GP, and World SBK coverage. And I'm branching out into F1 as well. Aside from track riding, I still get out on the weekends to carve canyons at a reasonable speed. Landon Williams, video editor / Lord of Epic trailer making. I guess you could consider me a part of the Fast and Furious generation of car nerds. The original movie came out just when my friends and I were getting our licenses, and I've been into cars ever since. I spent a few years driving my 2001 Honda Civic before I was about introducing to Initial D, a Japanese anime that solidified my love for cars and, more importantly, drifting. I'm all about style and drifting. Is the Optima? Many will say it's the coolest thing you can do with a car, and I tend to agree. By combining my love for drifting with my childhood hobby of shooting skateboarding videos, I ended up with landing a job at Turn 10 Studios back in 2006 after recreating an episode of Initial T in the original Forza Motorsport. As you can imagine, this was very early in the world of video game machinima, and my now longtime mentor and fellow 343er, the Chi Chow, who worked at Turn 10 at the time, caught wind of the video and emailed me. The rest is history. I went on to create over 10 stunt drifting videos in various Forza games with my team Project Blackjack, while working on as the cinematic lead on Forza for many years. This will explain the amount of drifting that ended up making its way into the game trailers, and eventually the game itself. I'm still here, guys and girls. I just asked some. The game itself, a question: what are some of your favorite cars you've owned or driven over the years? He's in the garage. What are some of your favorite cars you've owned or driven over the years? Frankie, I'm what you call a mid-range enthusiast whose dreams are deeper, and his pockets have driven loads of stuff over the years. From a brief stint as the company leased Ford Escort RS Cosworth to Formula Ford race cars, to beach buggies, exotic sports cars, and beyond. Sadly, until recently, my full-time grown-up cars have been boring or value-minded, but I love them all. A Nissan Micra, an Audi 90 5-cylinder sedan, a Mazda Fortiche, a Honda Fit, oh boy, the VTEC kicks in at a Mazda CX-7. The latter just got traded in for a 2017 Audi A4, my first proper big boy car. It's comfy, quiet, quick of the mark. Nelly? 0 through 60 in 5.3 seconds, according to a leading car magazine test. I, of course, would never drive that like that. And it literally has a better NVIDIA GPU than my current old desktop PC. I love it and am terrified of the... Johnny? Can you reach there, please? Kiki? I'm doing a video. Are they here for? That was my dad helping me, guys and girls. And guys and girls, thank you for my dad for pushing me. Thank you for pushing me, Dad. Welcome. That was my dad saying you're welcome. And I'm terrified of dings and scratches. Kiki, I have admittedly owned and driven a lot of cars in my life. It's definitely a personal indulgence. I've owned everything from a Mazda rotary truck RX-7 engine, plus my first car, to a 79 VW Rabbit, pre-catalytic converter, to BMW Tenhan tuned M Coupe. Still one of my favorite cars. I've tried mostly Porsche and BMW with a Bonanza Esperanza GT thrown in for good measure. I'm currently swapping between an Audi RS5 and a Porsche Cayman S, because everyone needs both a V8 and a V6 in their lives. James, my family traveled frequently, so I had the privilege of seeing a lot of European countries, and in turn drive a fair bit of their roads. Also, as I mentioned earlier, my grandfather was a mechanic, so that didn't hurt. Whenever I had to drive in a foreign country, I did my best to try and drive a car that was actually from that country. In France, I drove Cenderinis and Bugattis. In Romania, I drove Dacia. In Germany, my favorite, I got to drive Mercedes, Audis, and BMWs. And this one time, in Singapore, I got to drive a Lamborghini Gallardo Spider. I know a Lambo is Italian, but hey, I wasn't going to turn down a chance at driving the Raging Bull just because it wasn't home turf. But honestly, ask anyone that knows, and they'll tell you I bleed blue. And right, I've had more BMWs than anything else. My current car is a 2010 BMW 335i M Sport Manual, and my favorite car I've ever driven has to be the original E30 M3. It's the car that embodies BMW at its apex, and is, in my opinion, the genesis of what the ultimate driving machine motto stands for. KP motorcycles called me from an early age, and they're pretty affordable. So I started riding when I moved to Seattle. I kept it a secret from my mom for years. After finishing MSF, I started with a Suzuki GS 500, and then moved onto a Yamaha FZ6 and a track only R6 that was as fast as it was terrifying. I recently upgraded to an Aprilia Torino, which is just a beast and downright beautiful from every angle. I would park it in my bedroom if I could manage the stairs. My car history is more functional than fun. My first car was a '92 Honda Civic that died when I reached Seattle. The BMW 328i that replaced the Civic drove great, but had frequent problems. So I got a Honda Ridgeline to make track days easier. Just last year, I replaced the truck with a 2006 BMW M5, which I had lusted ever after since its introduction. That was simultaneously the best and most irresponsible decision I've ever made. While I have no regrets, I do have a mountain of service receipts in the glove box. 10 out of 10 would buy again. Landon. When I moved to Seattle for T10 gig, I had to get rid of my pride and enjoy the 001 Honda Civic. However, by this time, I was obsessed with another compact, the Toyota Corolla GTS, also known as the A86 or Sachi Rorik. Initial D got me. I'm an absolute Toyota/Corolla nerd, and I will probably drive one until the day I die. The driving experience is something I haven't been able to find anywhere else, and they're a great platform for drifting. I currently own 2 Corollas I have built in my garage over the years. One for the street, 1985 GTS hatch, and another purpose built for the track, 1987 GTS coupe. You can find me driving at Pat's Arses Racing Complex in Canby, Oregon, with music blasting and tire smoking. Check out Landon drifting his beloved Toyota here in this epic shot from Chris Has at everythingdrift.com. Grim. Vic Foza photos locally on a half a dozen Colony World. The Hugh Civic Foza feels a niche for cheap, reliable ground transportation in urban areas. And they showed a picture of it too. One above is Cardboard WMAX, originally based in Villaggio on the colony of Ballast. Cardboard's robust, high occupancy transit vehicles have earned favor from a vehicle variety of clientele and can be found in a diverse collection of settings from corporate fleet lots to down by the river. Civic Jeanette and G-Net. The G-Net is a popular high-volume coupe with several model trims ranging from eco-accessible track rating. A number of eligible law enforcement agencies have contacted the HU Civic to provide durable, high-performance police interceptors based off of the GNet, including the new Mombasa Police Department. Halo cars. Sometimes it's tough to stop and smell the patrol in between skirmishes with angry alien species. Plenty of fans have paid close enough attention to notice several different types of civilian vehicles scattered about the various Halo games. Whether it's in the darkened streets of New Mombasa or on a colorful billboard adorning a multiplayer map, we thought it might be fun and fitting Fonder fashion to take a slightly closer peek at some of Halo's lesser-known rights. MLX, in its nearly 40-year production lifespan, the MLX has developed a fervent cult following its chassis, highly modifiable and extremely sought after by modern hot rodders. MLX factory supported motorsport teams rotatingly stood atop the podiums of several different 26th century sports car racing series. Yeah, that's my dad doing. Okay, the Herb chassis, built in as the quintessential auto experience. The Herb chassis is widely held as a standard barrier for sport luxury vehicles, rotatingly employing exotic drivetrain configurations and propulsion systems to stay on the cutting edge of transportation science. And with that, we wrap up today's adventures. We've not done yet, though. If you want to learn even more about the new M1 2S Warthog CTS, you definitely want to keep an eye on ForzaMotorsport.net tomorrow for a very special edition of their awesome heavy metal affliction series. In it, they'll detail the bringing your favorite Puma tired off-road chief hauler to the Australian Outback in Forza Horizon 3. Also, keep an eye out for the upcoming installment this week on Xbox, which will feature a special that sees Major Nelson, trained by Dan Greenewalt, Kiki Wolfkill, and a larger-than-life special guest. Don't miss it, and don't forget to be on the lookout for Xbox Live messages containing your code to redeem your very own Warthog in the upcoming driving game. Horizon 3 will be available on September 27th, but if you pre-order the Ultimate Edition, you get the jump of the competition with early access beginning September 23rd. I mean, come on. Think of the possibilities with the Forza livery editor. Until next time, live well, play Halo, and when in doubt, go flat out grim. Alright, guys and girls, that was it for Halo 5 Guardians Discussion Series, episode 47. And, yeah. So I have to go now, so please rate, comment, like, favorite, subscribe, thoughts, and opinions, and I hope you liked it, and enjoyed your viewing pleasure, guys and girls. And stay tuned for more. And my favorite quote from Ghost Robo is, drink some hot chocolate, and I'll see you all later. And this is Aaron Halo 18 signing off. Good night and goodbye.